Listen, growth is not comfortable. It's not easy, and it definitely doesn't leave you the same person you once were. When you start growing, something inside you shifts, the way you think changes, the way you react changes. The things you once tolerated you no longer accept, and slowly, without even realizing it, your entire circle begins to change too. People who once understood you may suddenly feel distant. Conversations that once excited you now feel empty. Connections that once felt deep now feel forced, and you start questioning what happened. But here's the truth: nothing went wrong. You evolved. Growth demands alignment, and not everyone is meant to grow with you at the same pace, or even in the same direction. Some people were only meant for a chapter in your life, not the whole story, and that's okay. You're not losing people, you're shedding what no longer fits the person you're becoming. Just like a snake sheds its old skin to grow, you have to release what's too small for your new self. Don't confuse this shift with loss. It's not loss, it's transformation. It's elevation. It's you stepping into a higher version of yourself. So don't go back just because it feels familiar. Don't shrink yourself just to keep people comfortable. Because real growth, it will always cost you your old life, and trust me, it's worth it. Listen, healing is a lonely process sometimes. When you start healing, you begin to see things clearly. You notice patterns you once ignored. You recognize behaviors you once tolerated. And suddenly, the chaos that once felt normal becomes exhausting. You stop entertaining drama. You stop reacting to negativity. You start choosing peace, even when it means walking away. And that's when things change. People who were comfortable with the old you, the one who overgave, over-explained, and over-tolerated, will start to feel uncomfortable around the new you. Why? Because you're no longer playing the same role. You're no longer feeding the same energy, and that creates distance. But understand this, that distance is not rejection. It's protection. Some people were connected to your wounds, not your healed self. They knew how to exist in your chaos, but they don't know how to meet you in your peace, and that's not your fault. Healing requires you to outgrow environments, habits, and sometimes people. It asks you to choose yourself, even when it feels unfamiliar. So if people start drifting away as you heal, don't chase them. Let them go, because anyone who truly belongs in your life will grow with you, not resist your growth. Listen, there will be moments where growth feels like loneliness. You'll look around and notice fewer people, fewer conversations, fewer distractions, and for a second, it might feel like you've lost something. But let me tell you something powerful. Weak minds call it loneliness. Strong minds call it transformation. You're not alone. You're just in a phase where you're becoming someone new, and that process requires space. It requires silence. It requires distance from noise, because you can't hear your true self in a crowded room. Growth isolates you for a reason. It pulls you away from what's familiar so you can discover what's real. It removes distractions so you can focus on your purpose. And yes, it can feel uncomfortable, but discomfort is a sign that you're evolving. You're not being left behind, you're being redirected. You're being prepared for a life that requires a stronger, wiser, and more aligned version of you. So instead of fearing the quiet, embrace it. Instead of chasing company, build yourself, because one day you'll realize that this lonely phase was actually the most powerful transformation of your life. Listen, not everyone is meant to stay in your life forever. And one of the hardest lessons in growth is learning to let people go, not with anger, not with resentment, but with peace. If someone can't understand your growth, respect your boundaries, or support your journey, forcing them to stay will only hold you back. You don't need to argue, you don't need to explain, you don't need to prove anything, just let go, because holding on to people who no longer align with you creates emotional weight, and that weight slows down your progress. Your future needs space, space to grow, space to breathe, space to become, and you can't create that space if you're still attached to the past. Letting go doesn't mean you didn't care. It doesn't mean they didn't matter. It simply means you respect yourself enough to move forward. So release them with love. Wish them well and keep walking your path because the right people, they won't need to be convinced to stay. They'll naturally align with the person you're becoming. And that's the kind of connection your future deserves.